Welcome to the Mystery Cast right here on Tales of Earth, the show where we three fools.
Sorry.
We three glorping fools. You messed me up.
I'm sorry.
I was on a roll.
No, keep going. Start over. It's fine.
No, I'm not going to start over. They don't want me to start over. I don't want to start over.
It's au naturel.
Where was I? Right here on Tales of Earth. That's where we are. And you can support us by subscribing to the channel, the thing that we're on. Also, support us on Twitch. You can go to Patreon,
really
support us there, where you'll get access to this show and other shows right there on Patreon. You can also support us by following the link below and get some Tales of Earth merch, as well as other merchandise for the other things.
We're wearing merch.
You can look at his shirt, same as my shirt. That's probably my favorite one.
What happens in Area 51 stays in Area 51.
Unless you're a whistleblower.
Except herpes. That should come back with you.
Oh, yeah, it will. It'll haunt you.
Especially alien herpes.
Yes. Yes.
It's actually the name of the alien.
This is Dan.
It goes
The guy talking right now? This is Dan.
The guy talking about the alien named herpes.
Yes. Where can they find you, Dan?
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DanTProducer and on Twitch at DanTStreamer.
Okay. Andy.
It's pronounced herpes. You can find me at I Am the Andy on Instagram.
It's actually herpes. The S is silent.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you can find me on Twitter. Yes, Twitter at Film Circuit and Instagram at Northwood Films. It's like the joking and the laughing that kind of throws me off.
Obviously,
dry
it
opening.
does.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry.
That's all right.
As opposed to that one where you, I still love it when I uploaded it or I was releasing it and it started and it's like, sup, fools.
Yeah, I know. That's right. Yeah, I mean,
the
he
best
did it for a
one.
couple
Yeah,
of
so
times.
good.
Yeah.
Well, but if you do too much, it just gets old.
That's
like,
fair.
That's true.
You got to keep
He's
them
just going to
guessing.
call me a fool.
They don't know if they're a fool or not until you say it.
Oh, thank you so much. My life has changed. So Mopey, one of our buddies, because you called me a fool, now I know I'm a fool.
Just keep going. It's fine. It's fine.
Sent me a list. So I was trying to figure out what to do for the next episode. And then this list he sent me was perfect. And he didn't even know that I was trying to think of another. I'm sure he did. Whatever. It's called
He knew.
7 Mysterious Sounds.
Okay.
No, it's just coffee.
It's still just bourbon. 7 mysterious sounds science is yet to solve. Yes, sounds.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
So the whole episode is really things that science can't explain yet.
Sure.
yeah.
You know, there's a tendency when we say like, "Oh, science hasn't explained this or can't explain this."
Doesn't
Well,
mean
it's
it won't
science.
eventually
Right,
happen.
Yeah.
Just as
Scientists are a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
and-
Well, that's true.
yeah.
Well,
I am an expert. Signs are stupid.
On
Everything.
scientists. Everything.
you want to talk about something? You come to Andy.
Well, you keep going to them with your idea to nuke Mars, and they keep turning you down.
I'm
They don't know
trying
it's
to
good.
tell them.
They don't know
You're
it's
like,
good.
if you let me nuke Mars, I'll tell you what's making that sound.
Andy has all the answers.
Just me
But
knocking
he's-
on the wall.
And they're like, you know what?
But
That's a
he's-
great deal. I wanted to know what that sound is. I don't mind nuking Mars.
yeah,
It
Mars is
works.
getting too big for its britches is all I'm saying. Keep going.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
You send the nuke, then you get the information back from the probe that says, "Oh, there's life and water," and you're like, "Oh no."
It's like, let's nuke it harder.
We've already nuked it, so it's
already
like,
nuked
it's like
it. You're like,
crossing.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not good. Is there a
That's
way to
not
turn
good.
that thing off? Oh, I just crossed the threshold. We can't do it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, by the time the signal reaches it, it'll be. Yeah.
Then I've started an intergalactic war.
Because the life is extremely intelligent.
Yeah. Whoopsie.
Yep. All right. So this comes from Popular Science. So 7 mysterious sounds science is yet to solve. The loneliest whale. When the U.S. Navy gave scientists access to a network of hydrophones built in the 1950s to eavesdrop on Soviet subs, researchers discovered a surprising song. It followed a beat and migratory path reminiscent of a blue or fin whale. But while those species bellow at pitches of about 15 to 25 hertz, the new notes hit 52 hertz, only about as low as a tuba can manage. William Watkins, the marine mammal researcher who discovered the singular singer and listened to it for 12 years, died in 2004, but the search picked up again when sensors heard a similar call in 2010. Was this the original swimmer or a sign that Watkins' musical mutant wasn't so lonely after all? Researchers remain stumped. So there's a creature out there because they've only discovered one at a time.
Right.
It makes this sound.
Yeah. Makes this sound.
And they've yet to discover what it is, where it is, where
It's
it's
the
coming
Barry
from.
White of whales. It's the Barry White whale.
He's very
He's got a
soothing.
very low voice.
Yeah. So another
Actually, no.
whale,
That
like
that honestly
yeah.
is one of those ones where I it always kind of annoys me where they're like, well, clearly because all these other ones don't do it, this one can't. And it's like, do you know about mutations and evolution?
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's just one that somehow
Has
is
a deeper
capable of
voice.
swimming lower, and
Yeah.
actually the pressure of the water and atmosphere underneath the water that low could be affecting the sound or their
Yeah.
body enough to affect the
So
sound.
it's the James Earl Jones of Wales.
Exactly.
Maybe it just needs a lozenge.
Exactly, because let's be honest, when we get sick,
Giant
our
whale
voices go
lozenge.
so much lower than
Yeah,
they
yeah,
normally
yeah,
that's
are,
true.
and for all we know,
it
it's
could-
actually just a sick whale.
It could, it could,
And then
it
another
could just be like
whale
a
got
medical
sick.
anomaly as well. It could
Exactly.
just be this,
Yeah,
and like it only
yes.
happens every 1,000 whales, so there just happened to be a second one that has
Right.
now
It's kind of
it's
like
happened
the
to.
blue lobsters,
Yeah, exactly.
where
Or it
it's
could be
like
an
it's
injury.
super cool.
Or it could be an injury. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
They
Yeah.
got harpooned in the throat.
And that's the thing, is that just because it's
No,
unexplained,
I'm not gonna
people
finish
go.
that.
People just because it's unexplained, people tend to also go the other way of, well, then it's got to be supernatural,
Or
like, it
aliens.
has to be aliens.
It's an
or
alien
something
whale.
because it's
It's an alien down there going,
unexplained.
please help me, I fell and I can't swim.
The one thing, if you're a new viewer,
They're like, that's
that
great
you'll dis-
music.
One thing you'll pick up on it if you're a new viewer of this show is that we try to approach everything with healthy skepticism. You know, we keep our minds open to new ideas, new concepts. We definitely believe some strange things are happening, some strange things are out there, but there's a level of skepticism you have to take with everything.
Yeah,
And I am
and
the advocate
so-
of the devil.
and I'm the devil.
And I'm the very nervous man stuck in the middle. Hence the bourbon.
I'm running a great deal on souls
All
right
right.
now, though. So if anybody's interested,
The Seneca guns. Ghostly detonations have plagued residents near upstate New York's Seneca Lake. I think we've talked about this one. Along North Carolina's Outer Banks for more than a century, scientists have speculated that earthquakes might be responsible for the cannon-like sounds which rattle windows and can even open closed doors, but they've never found direct evidence of the connection. Other potential causes.
Can they close open doors?
Maybe.
Asking the real question.
Other potential causes. That's a real scientific method there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Include meteorites, covert military operations, and methane gas bubbling up from beneath the water to burst with a pop. Though some geophysicists still debate the cause of this persistent phenomenon, they consider the harmless rumbles more of a curiosity than a pressing scientific problem. That's what I say every time I have guests.
I was going to say have rumbles.
Yes. I look at my wife and I say, you consider...
That's
not
me.
you.
I just
Oh,
tell my
okay,
wife,
good.
you know what? I consider these harmless rumbles more of a curiosity
Yeah,
than
it's
a
harmless
pressing
gas.
scientific problem.
Sometimes bubble to the surface and pop,
Yes.
and can
So please,
open doors.
Please get the
Rattle
Dino
windows.
away from me.
Honey, can you open the door for me? Yeah. Ah, there you go.
There it is.
Love my daughter's sense of humor. She made up her own word for that. Turt. She calls it a turt.
I'm sorry.
I like
She
it.
calls it a turt.
I like
And she made it up all on her own. She's like, I turt. I'm like, that's my girl.
I like it.
All right.
Try to get that in the dictionary.
Get that in the dictionary. Yes.
Webster, if you're watching.
Man, I should not have trusted that turd.
It went more from a turt into a turd. So yeah. The buzzer. Numbers, stations, shortwave radio transmissions of monotone coded messages are inherently creepy. Yes, the radio is creepy. But call sign...
I agree.
But call sign UVB76 has out-creeped them all by playing the same jolting tone from Russia since 1982.
Well, I have heard about this. Yeah.
Similar broadcasts are useful for sending messages where snoops might intercept digital comms, so the buzzer could simply assist spies. But it plays far fewer words and digits than confirmed espionage outlets. So some suspect it's a science project that bounces radio waves off the ionosphere to detect solar flares. The most intriguing theory posits that it's a doomsday device that will go silent should Russia suffer a nuclear attack, thus triggering retaliation. That would be the scariest moment
Interesting.
if you consistently have your radio tuned to the signal,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then it just goes silent.
It just goes
Right.
dead.
So
It's
is it
constant in your life for like years.
so is it a always constant buzz, or is
Yes.
it like a buzz with occasional other things?
Sounds, beeps. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm wondering,
yeah.
I could definitely see that being a coded message where it's like only the people that have the exact frequency of the buzz can remove that from the transmission and get the actual message.
Yes.
The only thing is, it's been going on for a long
And
time.
it's very public
I mean,
knowledge.
they could be talking to people.
Right, it's very public knowledge. I'd like to think that it's
Hiding
Russia's...
in plain sight.
Yeah, I'd like to think that, or that. Or it's like Russia's like decoy.
Sure,
some other
yeah,
thing they
yeah.
have going
They just
on.
never like turned
And
it
they
off.
they never turn it off,
Yeah,
or they
yeah,
pay guys to sit there and send messages. They're just sending like Gordon Ramsay recipes. And,
It's actually a bunch of college kids. They did a prank and they dropped
hey.
the thing, and they're like,
oh no, well I can't fix it. It won't turn off now.
Yeah.
Where's the hammer?
Where's my off switch?
Where's my off switch?
Tesla, bring the off switch.
The Forest Grove Shriek. That is creepy.
Okay, that sounds creepy as hell.
This is why I always bring a gun when I'm going hiking.
Yes. Especially if you're in Forest Grove. A Portland suburb screamed its way into the League of Mysterious Noises in February 2016 with a loud mechanical squeal. The tone, which rang like a squeaky door, disturbed residents' sleep for about a month before ceasing. That was plenty of time to inspire loads of amateur theories, from alien invasions to burned out light bulbs. But attempts to pinpoint, I don't know.
What's this screech?
That's lame.
Light bulb burned out.
Yeah,
My bad.
are you going to remove it? Nah. But attempts, you're that
Soothing.
neighbor. Don't be that neighbor. But attempts, it's like the neighbor. We have a neighbor. We think it's our. We don't know what it is. But you know the sound that a smoke detector makes when the battery's low?
Yes,
the
We
beacon.
can hear
Yeah.
it from inside our house.
Oh wow,
And we don't know
That's
where it's
really
coming
loud.
from.
Yeah.
Yes, and it used to go on for like weeks.
It's probably aliens.
So-
There was
That's
actually,
probably aliens, yeah. And we
I
don't know
have
where
a
it's coming
similar one at my apartment complex. Like yesterday, I was sitting outside reading my comics, and it was just a very high pitched tone that would just not stop.
Yeah.
And this is not the first time that it's happened, so it's like
It's also probably aliens.
Also, aliens.
that's fair. That's fair. My
but-
neighbors do look weird.
That's fair.
But attempts to pinpoint the true, or what if your neighbors looked too human, like too perfect?
Oh God.
That would be creepy too. Like, wow, you're like, there's something that'd be. That's a
Well,
good
my
story. That'd be a
neighbor
good
more
story,
looked like
yeah.
the teacher from like Men in Black.
The teacher. I'm trying to remember the teacher. The teacher.
When Will Smith was like,
They're
was
seeing
my
the
third grade
aliens and he's
teacher
like,
an
I know.
alien?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. But attempts to pinpoint the true source, including those of a local physics professor who sought to triangulate the noisemaker using a Google map full of complaint calls, all failed. That's actually pretty smart. Police closed their investigation when the trail went cold, speculating that a loud attic fan or water pump, wow, on the fritz might have been to blame for the disappearing screech.
I don't know, like
A
loud enough
noise?
to wake up the neighbors.
Yeah.
In
Well,
like in a obviously a very large area.
A very large
Yeah.
area.
Yeah. So I mean, a burned out light bulb.
No.
That's
I've
the
had plenty of
stupidest
light
thing.
bulbs
This
that
is
have like
like-
burned
this
out,
is like
popped.
weather
Usually they do
balloon
not
level.
make a
Yeah.
sound. They just
It's just like
turn off.
Yeah.
like, or if it,
Yeah,
if
or you get
it
like a
actually,
little
like,
pop.
pops.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not a
It's not
continuous
going to wake
sound.
up the neighbors.
No,
A
Unless it's a halogen.
maybe
Like one of those like super
Yeah.
industrial lights.
But yeah, but that's like, I mean, you're not going to have those in a normal house. A really loud attic fan
Yeah.
and a backed up water pump. Like none of those are going to be
No.
loud enough on a consistent
Yeah, yeah,
basis.
yeah.
Right.
To get
To
a
warrant this
physics
many-
professor.
Exactly.
like,
It actually
Yeah.
was someone
yeah.
that they turned on their ceiling fan and it was a little creaky and
Yeah,
they went on
yeah, yeah, yeah.
vacation.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Forgot about it, came back and they were like, oh
The other thing is, this doesn't sound like a localized noise with a singular source, because if it was, you just get closer to it. Like, it's
Yeah.
getting louder, it's getting
Right,
louder,
yeah,
it's getting
yeah, yeah,
louder.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
it's
right.
coming from over there.
But if you need to use
Obviously,
Google Maps to
yeah.
triangulate where this could
Right.
possibly be coming
You know what
from.
they should have done? They
And
should have
it's-
posted on Reddit. Those
That's
guys
what
will
it
find
is.
anything.
And
yeah.
like even doing that, it was inconclusive. Like
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
very
that's
interesting
very-
one.
Well, and they said they gave up on the search. Police closed their investigation when the trail went cold.
well, because they said it only lasted for about a month and then it went away.
That still seems like a
That's a
pretty
long
damn
time,
long
But
Yeah,
it says when
yeah.
the trail went cold.
So
It
they
doesn't say
couldn't
when the
even
noise
find
stopped.
it. Yeah. I don't know. That one sounds suspicious to me because
Yeah.
It's very
those
strange.
reasons, like you said, those are like the weather balloon,
Yeah.
or
Right.
gas
explanations.
pocket
It's,
explanation. Yeah.
What do people have in their houses?
Did you
It's a
weather
ceiling
balloons? No,
fan.
no.
Ceiling fan. Yeah.
It's a,
The light bulb burnt out.
When you can
That's
turn on a
it.
ceiling fan and not wake up a baby, I don't think it's a ceiling fan
no, you don't think that?
or attic fan or whatever it was.
Yeah. Attic fan too. Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
Fans
to
in
be
their attic.
fair, when you get that ceiling fan that like slightly wobbles, that is one of the loudest and
But
most
it's like,
notable
it's
sounds.
just like a click, 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 click. It's not going to wake up the neighbors
know.
in the area.
It's actually the fan's the size of this house.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know. Those sound like very very, very.
Sounds like somebody has a Nikola Tesla on their hands.
Sounds
yeah,
like
yeah.
they're
As a neighbor,
torturing a
yeah.
transformer,
Oh no.
and it's crying out to its people.
Sure. Yeah. It's possible. Who knows?
The hum. Which
God.
should be a movie. A clamor needn't be high pitched to cause alarm. People in New Mexico, England, Canada, New Zealand, and elsewhere have reported hearing similar bouts of pervasive, low-frequency droning for decades. This has actually interrupted people's sleep. People have actually claimed illness because of this low hum. This tone has the added intrigue of not being audible to all. Some speculate that tinnitus, which causes ear ringing, could be a factor, but not everyone who claims to be one with the hum suffers from the condition.
I am one with the hum.
Yes.
It's actually a ton of monks.
I am one with the hum, and the hum is with me. Could they be imagining a rumble based on others' reports? If it actually exists, where does it come from? With such vague humming and hawing, it's difficult to know where a serious inquiry would begin. So this sonic conundrum, so whoever wrote this had fun. This sonic conundrum remains uncracked. We need like an old-timey radio voice for this particular.
We do.
Yeah. So the low hum, I've actually heard of this for decades, actually.
You've heard the low hum?
I have not heard it myself, but I've heard of it.
Okay.
Some people are like legitimately bothered by this.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a guy who actually ran a test. He found somebody else who could hear the hum, put this person in like a box. It was like a soundproof box, and they could still hear it. Both of them could hear it.
That's weird.
Yeah. So and these are people who don't have tinnitus. Like, there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with their
Right.
Because I mean, I
ears.
get it's not like a constant thing, but I do
Yeah.
occasionally
Right.
get the ear
I
ringing
think what it
thing
is-
from being in the army and
Personally,
things like
I
that.
think that it is a natural low hum because our planet, every celestial body, creates its own noise.
Yeah, everything
You
emits
Sure,
a
yeah,
frequency.
a frequency. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and actually, you can go to YouTube and look up some of these videos. It's the sun's natural sound, the Earth's natural sound. The Earth's is sad, actually. When you really, it sounds like crying. It's sad.
And you think
killing it.
climate
Yes,
change
yeah.
isn't real?
because
Listen to the
killing
earth
it.
Exactly. I think some people are just more sensitive to the natural hums and sounds
possible, yeah.
of the planet.
Yeah.
In the same way that there's the mosquito sound. Have you heard of the mosquito sound? So basically, as you get older, you can no longer hear this sound. When you're younger, you can hear it.
Okay.
Back when
I'm pretty sure they had a device in Brooklyn Nine-Nine that dispersed young people.
that is true.
That only people under a
Yes.
certain age can
Yep.
hear the certain
Yep,
sound.
they actually, I think they did that in some shopping malls or like stores. Because I think it's like once you hit your mid 20s, you can't hear it anymore. So young people, like kids in high school, actually used to use this sound as a ringtone, so their teachers couldn't hear it. So it's
I've
pretty
never heard
brilliant.
of
It was
that.
pretty brilliant.
It's pretty brilliant,
But I've
yeah.
done the test myself, and I actually remember being able to hear it because I did the test at like a youth conference.
Yeah.
And I could hear it, and nobody else around, like everybody around me is much older than me. They're like, I can't
Right.
hear. I'm like, yeah, I totally hear it. And then I did.
You old fart.
I did it again, probably 5 or 6 years later, and I couldn't hear it anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's a very real thing. So I think that's it. Some people are just more
Okay.
sensitive to.
I'm
That's
wondering
noises
if it's one of those ones where, while yes, the Earth emits a frequency, I'm wondering if it's in locations where it's amplified based on wind.
Yep.
Like
It
if
could
a
be.
wind's
Probable,
going
yeah.
through a
Right.
cave, like you get that howling
Yeah.
sound, and if it's
That's our next one. It's similar concept. It's a very similar concept to what you're talking about right now. So
Oh,
Don't
really?
screw it
yeah,
up.
no, keep talking.
Oh,
I forgot
that
what I
too.
was saying now. You interrupted my train of
Like
thought.
topography and geography had something
Yeah,
to do
so
with
exactly, like the wind like hitting certain things could amplify a certain sound, and like you said, some people can hear certain things that others can't.
Yes.
And it's not always age related. Sometimes
Yes.
it's simply
I can
the
hear
way
time.
that your body is shaped in a way. Like your eardrums may be formed in a different way than other
Right.
people, so that it's more sensitive to certain sounds than it is
Absolutely.
others.
Well, it makes
I
more
mean,
sense.
kind of in the
I mean,
same way
it-
tinnitus is that like
Yeah,
your
tinnitus.
eardrum has changed,
Right.
your equilibrium and stuff. It's not right, and you hear that ringing sound. And I
Yep.
could see that with some people having almost the opposite and being
Right.
more sensitive to
Their
their
hearing
sound.
is too good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like how people with blue eyes actually can see through fog better than people who don't have blue eyes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's just one of those like evolutionary developmental advantages you have,
Right.
Which would make more sense because generally people like in history who've had like fair skin, blue eyes, blonde hair, live in colder,
Sure,
more
yeah,
foggy
yeah.
climates. So you would develop the ability to see better in fog. I think that every time I go out driving in the fog, I'm like, I love my eyes. Oh man,
I'm like, I can't see shit. What the hell, man? Gary, where are you?
Aha, that's my superpower.
They called him.
I can see an
Fog
extra
light.
5 feet through the fog.
Yes, and I think it's pretty negligible. Like,
Right.
but tests have shown that there is an advantage.
Yeah.
We'll
there.
call him fog lights.
Fog lights. Gary, open your eyes.
Superhero name.
Bing. Singing sand. Go to the Gobi Desert in Asia or Great Sand Dunes National Park in Colorado, which I still want to go, and you might just hear a spooky tune. The massive beachy formations make a low roar that has frightened and intrigued intrepid travelers going back at least as far as the 13th century, when Marco Polo compared it to the, quote, the sounds of all kinds of musical instruments.
I'm sorry, who? Was it Marco Polo?
Marco Polo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just keep going.
But there's a likely explanation. The dunes probably start to sing. Actually, he went there and the sands went, Marco.
Well, now I'm wondering
That's
if
actually
that's
where the game was invented.
That's
Yeah.
why I was wondering. I'm like, is this
Oh,
soundologist related to the game because he's a soundologist? That's what
But
we're calling it now, by the
but
way.
There's a likely explanation. The dunes probably start to sing as grains slide, avalanche style.
And they go, Marco.
Yeah.
And then when he yells polo, it stops, and they're like, oh my god.
Wow. Off the slopes. A 2012 study in which physicists triggered the necessary cascade by scooting downhill on their butts. Science!
All right, everybody for science. Ready?
Yes.
Ready?
Whee! Hypothesized that the phenomenon's distinctive variations in pitch are due to differences in grain size.
Yeah.
It's all about that
It's
grain
almost
size.
kind of like a rain stick, almost.
Yeah.
But an outdoor one. Natural. That screams Marco when you
That's
slide
fair.
down on your butt.
Marco Polo.
That should be a rain stick. That
That's
should be a real rain
amazing.
stick.
I love it.
Oh,
I love
man.
it.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it's just.
I think scientists are full of crap, and they just wanted a reason to slide down the sand hill on their
I
butt.
could see that. I could see the grain size being a thing, though.
I could-
I once
yeah, I
actually
could see
did a project. It's not fully related, but kind of relates to the whole
Sure.
grain size
Sure.
thing of the Mentos and Coke. I
Okay.
actually did it and learned it does the same effect if you do Mentos, salt, and sand. Because it's actually the Coke's reaction to the different pores on the material that's going in it. And a Mentos
Okay.
has so many tiny little pores, and because it's so dense, it
Right.
sinks through, affects so much of the Coke at the same
Right.
time
Gotcha.
that it's a lot more violent than the other ones. Because I actually did it and measured how high all of them went. They all had the same reaction, but the grain size did actually make a
interesting.
big factor. And with that being like affecting that, I could definitely see the same being with
Sure.
wind or like sound and stuff, because it's kind of like if you blow on a bottle, it makes a certain sound because it's got a certain size.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
if you
yeah.
do it on a glass, it's a different size.
Yes.
So I could see
absolutely.
that being very related to that kind of thing, and in a way, actually, going like sliding down it really would affect that, because it would shuffle up the different grain size, which would, in theory,
It
if
wouldn't
that
just be the
was
small
called
top layer. It would be
exactly like there
lower
would be
layers and
the
stuff.
dense
Yeah, yeah.
stuff underneath, and like the sound would change if it was related to the grain size, and it would. I mean, it may
Yeah,
be very
sure.
minor,
I mean, they could have just
but
stood
the
up there and taken a
soundologists,
shovel
they know
and,
what they're
like,
doing.
Yeah. I do think they just wanted to have fun.
Yeah,
Like, could we
yeah,
just
yeah.
take a
That too.
shovel and like shut?
I mean,
it was
that
like,
too.
oh, let's
That's
slide down on our butts.
Yeah.
Forward. Never mind. I was gonna say butt science, but whatever.
Butt science.
I'm sure it's a real thing. There are people who specialize
Probably.
in butts. That
Buttologist?
reminds me.
I like to consider myself a buttologist, honestly. Amateur.
Amateur,
of
amateur
course.
buttologist.
Yeah, amateur buttologist.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That actually reminds me of something. What if, when we get to Mars, what kinds of weird sounds?
When we get to Mars, or when do we nuke Mars?
Yeah, I was gonna say what kind
Either.
of Am I hand
I
delivering
really-
the nuke?
One then the other.
Like Mars, here's your nuke. Boop. There you go. But it does make me wonder what kinds of sounds we're going to hear on Mars, and then it also makes me wonder, why have we never recorded the sounds on Mars? We have had wireless microphone
yeah,
technology for decades.
Right.
Why have we not done this? I'm curious to hear what Mars
One of those
sounds like.
rovers we send down there. Why can't they have like
A microphone.
some kind of recorder? And then it
Haven't
can
they
send?
actually?
Maybe I don't
No.
If they have,
Because
I, don't know
I
about
thought they had done it to confirm that there was
Hang
wind
on.
on Mars.
Audio. Well, we can see the effects of the wind on the clouds. And,
No, I know that,
It'd
but
be
like
creepy if
I
there was no wind. It'd be really silent.
yeah.
I don't like
audio
this at
maybe,
all.
maybe we do have audio, but it's so silent. We're
It's
like
just creepy
they're
as
just
hell.
like, no, there's nothing.
You
We
can hear
don't
the
know
Martians
that."
sneaking up on you.
You hear the rover's
wait.
going through. You
Hang
just hear,
on.
achoo.
Sounds of Mars. NASA's InSight
Yeah.
senses Martian wind. Wait. Senses Martian wind. Oh, NASA releases first ever audio recording from Mars. Took you long enough.
I wonder also if
Just
that's
last
one of those
a year
ones
and a half
where it like not just that they can't record it, but
Yeah.
potentially that the signal coming back to
Would be
us would get
degraded,
so
so yeah.
degraded or affected by the fact that
but
there's
then
no
we
sound
have
in space.
something. But
I
then
mean,
we
if
have something.
Yeah.
It's a radio signal in the same way that they send images. You know what?
I just have this image. It's like it's the wind, and then all you hear is, "Hey, what is that thing?"
What is?
I don't know, it's like a weird little rover kind of thing. I don't know. Don't get near its camera. All right.
just stand over here.
But then you need to hear some
Stop
southern
moving,
voice.
stop moving.
Then you need to hear some like Southern American voice, like, "Don't worry, guys, I got it."
Which either says that one, it's completely fake. We've never been to Mars.
Yeah.
Or two, there's a bunch of rednecks on Mars.
The Red Planet.
that makes sense.
Do we want to hear this sound?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, guys, if you want, viewers, if you want to listen to this, it's called NASA releases first ever audio recording from Mars. It's on Fox News.
I'm not sure if I trust it now.
2018, but I do want to hear this real fast.
Wait,
Sounds like wind.
was the rover moving when this happened?
No. I love that sound.
Then you just hear like the xenomorph.
You hear some skittering.
They should.
It sounds like an ocean.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, it sounds
Or
like
a windy day.
it sounds like wind on
Yeah.
Earth.
Yeah, like a windy
Yeah.
day.
It
Okay,
sounds
I
like
have
the
seen-
sound when you hold like
Kinda, yeah.
a shell to your ear.
Yeah.
That's kind of creepy.
Listen, Mom, it's Mars.
Did you know
Like-
if you hold a girl wearing a shell bikini to your ear, you can hear the sound of her screaming? What? No?
That's amazing.
All right.
I love it.
I don't like the title of this one, The Vocal Memnon. But built nearly 3,500 years ago, the
I like the
Colossi.
image.
Yes, a random house. I love it. The Colossi of Memnon guard the tomb of Egyptian pharaoh Amenhotep III near Luxor. But one sentinel was not silent at his post. He sang at dawn. This sparked a tourist craze, and visitors left ancient Yelp reviews in the form of graffiti. Great.
Good job.
You look there, it's like spray painted bird with an eye next to it. That's what I picture as ancient graffiti.
stars.
If you write with a bird, it's called tweeting. Remember? This sparked a tourist craze. Okay, Julia Balbilla, a Roman noble who visited in 130 A.D., wrote a poem on the statue's leg, comparing the sound to ringing bronze. The music apparently died around the time Roman Emperor Septimus Severus ordered repairs to the sculpture in 200 A.D. That could be a clue. Perhaps cracks in the stone collected dew, creating sonic vibrations as temperatures rose and warmed the liquid.
That would be my guess. Sort of
Yeah.
like if there was
Underwater
craps
air
or
pocket.
something,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
like the wind would howl
It sounds
through it.
it sounds
yeah.
like the Howling Cave situation.
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's basically what any wind instrument is.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
It
just
is
wind
hilarious.
vibrating
It'd be
off something
hilarious though
else.
if it was like literally saying like you would come to visit the temple, you just hear like whoa.
It's like, I remember that he was so great.
That'd be
oh
funny.
man. Or if it's singing, but it's only the words of songs that you know the words to.
Sure, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's
I
somehow
love
a
you,
barbershop
baby.
quartet.
Na, na, na,
I wanna
na.
rock.
You're like, what is this?
The hell?
Turns out a time traveler dropped their radio.
And the battery
Inside
just
the
eventually
back.
ran out.
Yeah.
It was lithium. It lasted a long time.
Do we want to stop at 30 or do we want to do another list?
No, let's do another one.
Okay. This one comes from newscientist.com. 13 things that do not make sense. Okay.
Me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Number 1, the placebo effect. Don't try this at home. Several times a day for several days, you induce pain in someone. You control the pain with morphine until the final day of the experiment when you replace the morphine with saline solution. Guess what? The saline takes the pain away. This is the placebo effect. Somehow, sometimes, a whole lot of nothing can be very powerful. Except it's not quite nothing. When Fabrizio Benedetti, well, I know my next child's name, of the University
Fabrizio Cox.
Fabrizio.
That didn't sound right.
Of the University of Turin in Italy, carried out the above experiment. He added a final twist by adding naloxone, a drug that blocks the effects of morphine, to the saline. The shocking result, the pain-relieving power of saline solution disappeared. Oh.
Interesting.
So the body treated it like it was
Actually, morphine.
morphine. Interesting.
Even so much the effect that you could use whatever would block morphine, which obviously wouldn't have blocked
Yes.
saline,
Right.
Because it didn't do anything.
Because
Yeah.
I'm assuming he didn't tell them this either.
I would assume, yeah.
I think they would tell them that it would be a blocker.
No, I don't. Not if you're trying to do
that
a
would-
blind study. I mean,
But like that's
That's
the
true,
thing is
yeah.
I also
Yeah.
feel like they would say it so that because the whole point of the placebo effect is you're aware of what it's supposed to be doing, and that's
is
why your
true,
body
yeah.
actually
Yes.
reacts.
So
Because
if they
I
were
would see
like-
this being a blind study of they gave some people morphine, they gave
Yeah.
some people saline, and they said you're both taking morphine. This is the blocker,
Yeah.
and they give it to them, and they're like,
Right.
"Wow, the pain went away."
Yeah, I could see that, yeah.
so what is going on? Doctors have known about the placebo effect for decades, and the naloxone result seems to show that the placebo effect is somehow biochemical. But apart from that, we simply don't know.
I mean, to me, the placebo effect, depending on what it is, in
Yes,
terms
absolutely.
of pain relief or something like that, it's your body telling you, sending the signals that it's not supposed to be in pain anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I told you that also I'm putting this thing in here that's going to stop the morphine,
Right.
your body's like, oh, okay, so we will feel pain. That's how it's supposed to work.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Or when you think you've touched a hot stove, but it's not actually hot,
Exactly.
your body tells you for a
Yeah,
second.
because
like, oh,
it's
that was
like,
hot.
because I mean,
Yeah.
our brain chemistry releases whatever signals it's supposed to do depending on
Right.
what it thinks
Yeah.
is supposed to
And
happen.
if it's
Yeah.
telling
So-
your body that, that's what
Exactly,
you're going to
yeah.
experience.
We actually, when I worked on the ambulance, we would occasionally get drug abusers that essentially were calling just so we would give them drugs.
Yeah.
And my paramedic, like to essentially, when we knew it was someone like that, he would be like, all right, we're going to give you the really strong stuff, the normal saline, which is just normal saline.
Yeah,
and we would
normal-
give it to
yeah.
them and they would be like, oh man, I feel so much better.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
And it was another effect of the placebo effect
Yeah.
of they thought they were taking
It's your
a
brain
drug.
telling you,
Exactly.
I am taking a
it's
drug.
kind of like when
therefore,
you
yeah.
like you tell someone they've like taken a drug or
And they
like
act like
or
they- yeah, yeah,
alcohol
right, yeah,
or
yeah.
something like
Right.
that, and they're like, "Man, I'm crazy."
Yeah,
It's like that was water.
That was that was Russian water. So vodka. The horizon problem, number 2. Our universe appears to be unfathomably uniform. Look across space from one edge of the visible universe to the other, and you'll see that the microwave background radiation filling the cosmos is at the same temperature everywhere. That may not seem surprising until you consider that the two edges are nearly 28 billion light years apart, and our universe is only 14 billion years old. Nothing can travel faster than the speed of light, so there's no way heat radiation could have traveled. That's because you're Illuminati. Between the two horizons to even out the hot and cold spots created in the Big Bang, and leave the thermal equilibrium we see now. This is still a problem for scientists. They're still trying to figure this out.
Right.
Why the background radiation is so even across the entire universe. Because one, it doesn't necessarily explain the point of origin. Because if you have a point of origin, like an explosion, the center is going to have more radiation than the outer, and that's not
Right.
what we see either.
Yeah.
So this is still a mystery for scientists. Anytime you turn on your radio and you get static, that's actually background radiation from the universe.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. So go listen to the universe. Find an old radio, go listen to the universe. That does actually kind of make me sad that we're losing so much analog technology.
That you can't listen to the
You
universe.
can't listen to the universe.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go listen to the universe and that mystery Russian signal.
I like it. Solid
Luckily,
plan.
I still
I'm
have
gonna listen to
my
Mars. Yeah.
my analog Nickelodeon alarm clock, which had a radio, so I can still listen to the universe thanks to Nickelodeon.
Yes.
Thank you, Nickelodeon.
Thank you.
A variation in the speed of light could solve the problem, but this too is important in the face in the face of the question why. So that is another theory that the speed of light is not a constant, that it is, because ultimately the speed of light was decided upon by people.
Yeah.
They basically
Right, yeah,
decided
yeah.
one day, like, well, I guess this
This is the speed of light, yeah.
Yes,
Right.
and there's nothing to say definitively that light can't travel at different speeds depending on its conditions. One of my theories is it rules out time relativity. That if time moves differently throughout the universe, you'd think that whatever is interacting with the variations in time, i.e. light, would also move differently, therefore increasing or slowing down.
It's kind of like in Futurama, how they were like, nothing can travel faster than the speed of light. He's like, that's why scientists increased the speed of light in 2032.
Yeah, just to save themselves that headache. 3, ultra-energetic cosmic rays. For more than a decade, physicists in Japan have been seeing cosmic rays that should not exist.
Easy Japanese.
They kept sending people out. They're like, Fantastic Four, dead. Damn it. Send the next ones.
Fantastic working. Cosmic rays
dark.
are particles, mostly protons, but sometimes heavy atomic nuclei that travel through the universe at close to the speed of light. Also, we did find an interstellar object way, way, way out there that was traveling 5 times the speed of light, and we know it's a physical object, but we can't explain it. Universe is strange.
Space poop.
Space poop. They say there might be another one coming our way.
Really?
Another space poop?
Another space poop.
Oh,
Basically,
man.
it's another.
I don't want to see the thing that pooped it out.
It's actually ego.
It's another
The
interstellar.
planet pooping.
It's another interstellar object that is heading into our solar system. So, okay.
Interesting.
Some cosmic rays detected on Earth are produced in violent events such as supernovae, but we still don't know the origins of the highest energy particles, which are the most energetic particles ever seen in nature. But that's not the real mystery. A cosmic ray, as cosmic ray particles travel through space, they lose energy in collisions with the low energy photons that pervade the universe, such as those of the cosmic microwave background radiation. Einstein's special theory of relativity dictates that any cosmic rays reaching Earth from a source outside our galaxy will have suffered so many energy shredding collisions that their maximum possible energy is 5 by the 10 to 19th power.
Totally. perfect sense.
Electronvolts. This is known as the over the past decade. However, the University of Tokyo, again, Tokyo's Akino Giant Air Shower Array. Okay.
I like it.
111 particle detectors spread out over 100 square kilometers has detected several cosmic rays above the GZK limit. In theory, they can only have come from within our galaxy, avoiding an energy-sapping journey across the cosmos. However, astronomers can find no source for these cosmic rays in our galaxy. So, what is going on? I say it's something else science hasn't explained yet. We'll figure it out in another 30 years.
Get around to it.
Yeah, we'll get around to it.
I mean, it makes sense, though, that it would degrade based on how far it travels.
Sure, yeah.
Because, I mean, that happens to things
Yes.
we've got just on our planet.
Yeah.
Let alone across an entire universe.
Right, yeah. So it would make sense.
Yeah.
This is a very scientific article.
It is. My brain hurts.
Number 4, Belfast homeopathy results.
Totally.
Madeline Ennis, a pharmacologist at Queen's University Belfast, was the scourge of homeopathy. She railed against his claims that a chemical remedy could be diluted to the point where a sample was unlikely to contain a single molecule of anything but water, and yet still have a healing effect until, that is, she set out to prove once and for all that homeopathy was bunkum. So nonsense. In her most recent paper, Ennis describes how her team looked at the effects of ultra-dilute solutions of histamine on human white blood cells involved in inflammation. These basophiles, which will make sense to scientists out there, release histamine when the cells are under attack. Once released, the histamine stops them releasing anymore. The study... I want the other writer.
He really punched it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
the study
yeah.
replicated in 4 different labs found that homeopathic solutions, so dilute that they probably didn't contain a single histamine molecule, worked just like histamine. I think we just covered what that is.
Placebo effect.
Placebo effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're telling you this is going to work, so it works. Ennis might not be happy with the homeopath's claims, but she admits that an effect cannot be ruled out. Well, it's like people that claim that crystals heal them or
Right.
like salt lamps heal them.
It's one of those ones where the placebo effect only goes so far in terms of what it can affect.
Yes.
Because like that's the problem with homeopathic remedies and stuff is people are using it on such severe things
Yeah,
that a
yeah.
placebo
Yes,
effect
exactly.
would not affect
I
it.
cut my arm. Here, take this magic feather. It'll heal.
Right, exactly. But if
Not
you
working.
I lost my arm. Here, take these pills that make your arm grow back.
Exactly. But like if you got a
Exactly.
bruise and it
Right,
hurt
yeah,
and you
yeah.
were like, if you rub this cream on it, it'll feel better.
It's more-
that would be a more
Sure,
realistic
yeah.
placebo
It's
effect.
more like it affects the signals in the brain.
Yes.
Is basically it.
But it's not going to regrow an arm.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
not how it works.
That's not how it works.
If it did, man, that'd be cool.
We'd all be Piccolo.
I'd be cutting my arms off left and right.
Again, Dan, it's just cool when it does it.
It's just he's like,
Watch it grow. Watch it grow. Takes like a week. Just keep watching. Just keep watching.
Every day you come in with a little arm.
It's like Deadpool
Yeah, yeah,
when his
yeah,
legs
yeah.
grow back.
Oh man. Number 5, dark matter. Take the first word is like all caps for some reason. Our best understanding of gravity, apply it to the way galaxies spin, and you'll quickly see the problem. The galaxies should be falling apart. Galactic matter orbits around a central point because its mutual gravitational attraction creates centripetal forces, but there is not enough mass in the galaxies to produce the observed spin. Basically, what's the glue holding the universe together? Is the force is the question. Yes. Vera Rubin, an astronomer working at the Carnegie Institution's Department of Terrestrial Magnetism in Washington, D.C. That's quite a resume item. Spotted this anomaly in the late 1970s. I'm just saying, like, so what did you do before you came here? Well, I was an astronomer working at the Carnegie Institution's Department of Terrestrial Magnetism in D.C. Okay. Welcome to 7-Eleven.
And now you
you
work
got-
at Burger King.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
man.
clean the grill.
Unfortunately, some people have been in that situation.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Depressing.
Spotted this anomaly in the late 1970s. The best response from physicists was to suggest there is more stuff out there than we can see. The trouble was nobody could explain what this dark matter was.
Dark matter.
So the term dark matter, it's not like when we discovered dark matter, or actually, because it could be multiple things.
Sure, yeah,
It could be
yeah,
one thing.
Yeah.
We don't
Right.
actually
I'm going to
know
start
what it
blaming
is.
it for everything. Be like, well,
Why were you late?
Why are you drunk today? Dark matter.
Dark matter.
Or cosmic rays.
Or cosmic rays. That'll
Exactly.
work. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Gary gave
It's
me this
actually-
dark matter pill. Later, I discovered that it's a placebo.
Didn't grow my arm back.
Yep. It was just more.
What a cool
Bourbon.
third arm.
This guy has this thing about bourbon. I don't know what it is. And they still can't, although researchers have made many suggestions about what kind of particles might make up dark matter. There is no consensus. So, dark matter. Still a thing of
Dark
mystery.
matter.
What I find interesting is that, so maybe generous, we'll say in another 30 years, we actually discover what dark matter is. Maybe it's multiple elements. Maybe it's one. Maybe it's, like, who knows what the
right.
explanation is going to be.
Spaceship fuel.
About half of sci-fi is going to look absurd once we actually know what it is.
yes.
And the other
Yes.
half is going to be spot on.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I can see dark matter just being
the
elements we
70s
don't
lost
have
in
on
space.
Yeah,
Earth.
exactly. Yeah.
Like I just picture dark matter as like elements we don't have on Earth.
Sure.
Because we continuously find new
yeah.
elements on
Yeah,
Earth.
yeah, yeah.
We're very aware that
Yep.
stars, the pressure and stuff is creating different
Oh yeah,
elements
we know our
that we are
table
not
isn't complete.
capable.
Yeah, the table is far from complete.
That's what I've
so-
always pictured dark
right.
matter as, and it's just the term dark matter is essentially the fancier version of unknown matter.
Yeah, I was going to say,
no.
it's better
Well, that's-
sounding than,
yeah, yeah.
dark
It's
matter?
like, it's
Yeah,
like
sure, why not?
black holes aren't necessarily black. It's just we genuinely,
necessarily
we
a
don't-
hole.
We don't necessarily. And it's not a hole. It's actually a yeah.
Tear in the fabric of the universe itself.
Yes.
We
That's
don't have
actually not
enough
true
time
either.
to explain what a black
Yeah,
hole is.
exactly.
Apparently, recently we've discovered that white holes are a real thing.
Yep. I actually knew about that one.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a bunch of jokes that go
I
here,
know.
but go
I'm
ahead.
gonna move on.
Yeah, probably better.
Number 6, Vikings methane. Pretty sure this is ale.
That's just Vikings farting, isn't it?
Yes. Turding.
Yeah.
Turding.
Sorry,
You're
turding.
welcome. July 20th, 1976. Gilbert Levin is on the edge of his seat. Thank you for that detail. Millions of kilometers away on Mars, the Viking landers have scooped up some soil and mixed it with carbon. Oh, yeah, the Viking... Like the
Not
Viking
actual
rover,
Vikings.
Oh.
the
No,
Viking
it's sad.
rover
Damn it.
on Mars.
I was
discovered
so hoping
methane.
for Vikings.
That's old news. Yeah, we know.
It's actually Vikings could travel in space.
Yeah, we've known about methane on Mars for a very long time. But the interesting thing is that the single most common source of methane is living creatures.
Right.
So of some kind.
So how is it on Mars?
It's cows.
Cattle. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
And actually, is they did a
Martian
study where
cows.
they're like, if you feed cattle like seaweed, I think it reduces their methane production by like 50%. Like
More
something
seaweed.
So it's Martian. What do they call them? Bugalows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bugalo.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna skip that one. We know methane's on Mars. We don't know the origin.
Space cows.
Space cows,
Space
bacteria.
cows.
One theory
Once
is
we
it's
nuke
just
'em.
bacteria.
They'll be
Well, the thing is, we've discovered liquid
Mutated
water.
space
We've discovered
cows.
liquid water
Right.
underneath the surface of Mars.
right.
Seasonal
Which we
liquid
could
water.
nuke that too.
If there's liquid water,
Right.
we know that there's probably microbial life.
Okay.
Very likely.
Nuke
They're
it.
probably the ones creating the the methane. Nuke the methane.
So if we nuke
So-
the life, it might mutate and become actual Martians.
Over billions of years. or
Possible.
millions of
There's
years,
only
who
one way to
knows?
find
There's
out.
only one way to
Nuke
find out. Yeah. 7. Tetra-neutrons. 4 years ago, a particle accelerator in France detected 6 particles that should not exist. I love how science is always discovering this shouldn't exist.
And then a couple of years later, they're like, how can you not believe that this is it?
Yes. Well, I'm sure it was the same thing with like evolution at first.
Exactly.
We're like, no, this can't be right. And then, yeah, a few years later, it's absurd not to think that. Yeah. This shouldn't exist. Okay. I think we call that discovery.
After you
No.
burn the person who first discovered it at the stake, and then a couple of years later, like, oh, we probably shouldn't have
The
done
way I look
that.
at it, it's like having a theory about what's in the other room. Nobody's been in the other room, so you get your theories. You say like, well, it smells like this, and like I know this was in there before. Blah blah blah. You get your theories, and you open the door, and you're like, oh, well, that shouldn't be in there. Like, based on what?
Now there are times that shouldn't be in there. You walk in the other room and there's a bison
Yes.
in your bedroom. That should not be in there.
That should not be there.
This should not be existing right
Yes.
now.
Unless it's your birthday.
Unless it's your birthday.
Yes.
And you have really good
But
friends.
according to quantum physics, the bison might actually be in there.
That's
and then
true.
it's not in there once you look at the room.
It's almost like Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Schrodinger's cat is just everywhere. Okay.
Well,
so
it's both everywhere and nowhere.
At the same time. Until you figure it out one way or the
Yes,
other.
exactly. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
C, Ghost in the Atom. They are called another 90s
Sounds like a cool
movie.
movie, by the way.
Yes, Ghost in the Atom. That's the sequel.
go
They are
search.
called Tetra-neutrons. 4 neutrons that are bound together in a way that defies the laws of physics. I think we need to rethink our laws of physics here, people.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's the voice of every outraged scientist,
yeah.
even the women.
I just want to see that conference.
Francisco Miguel Marquez and colleagues at the Ganil Accelerator in Caen are now gearing up to do it again. If they succeed, these clusters may oblige us to rethink the forces that hold atomic nuclei together, as they should.
And if it fails, we get superheroes.
Always. Fantastic Four. Just call it Japan.
In the Flash.
Number 8. The Pioneer
Particle
Anomaly.
accelerator.
This is a tale of 2 spacecraft. Pioneer 10 was launched in 1972, Pioneer 11 a year later. By now, both craft should be drifting off into deep space with no one watching. Well, duh. However, I guess they mean like the machines aren't on or whatever. Their trajectories have proved far too fascinating to ignore. That's because something has been pulling or pushing on them, causing them to speed up. Planet 9. The resulting acceleration is tiny, less than a nanometer per second. That's equivalent to just 1/10 billionth of the gravity of Earth's surface, but it is enough to have shifted Pioneer 10 some 400,000 kilometers off track. I'd say that's a little off track. NASA.
I don't know. In space terms, that's not that much.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. NASA. Well, yeah. I mean, if you shift even just a little bit and you go far enough,
Right.
that's very off track. Yeah. So where was I? Oh, that's weird. NASA lost touch with Pioneer 11 in 1995. We just lost touch with it. But up to that point,
just
it
became
was
different people at that point.
experience.
We had a different direction. In
I
that.
was seeing a different probe.
That didn't sound right.
Maybe don't phrase it like that. But up to that point, it was experiencing exactly the same deviation as its sister probe. So what is causing it? Nobody knows. Some possible explanations have already been ruled out, including software errors, the solar wind, or a fuel leak. If the cause is some gravitational effect, it is not one we know anything about. In fact, physicists are so completely at a loss that some have resorted to linking this mystery with other inexplicable phenomena, like Dark Planet 9, which is quite possibly a micro black hole or just a very dark planet out there that we just haven't seen yet. Because we have seen this object affect other celestial bodies in our solar system. So we know something is there.
Right.
And that's probably what this is being pulled by.
I just picture it hit like a little meteor.
Right. Or a little alien is pushing it. Whee!
Jimmy, stop playing with that nuke. That's what I'm calling it.
Or
everything in space becomes
or a guy in the
nuke.
control room accidentally added one extra digit.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
He spilled his coffee. Oh, shit. It's fine.
Everybody else is just like,
He's like, it's not that far off track right now. Give it another 20 years and
He's like, yeah, I didn't do anything. By the way, I retire.
I retire. He's like, the intern.
Yeah.
Number 9, dark energy. Everything is dark in the universe.
well, there's not a lot of electricity out.
Exactly.
past
We haven't
Earth.
shown light on it yet.
Yeah, so. And then the farther you get away from the sun, the darker it gets. Makes sense.
That's fair. That's fair. Space is dark.
Dark energy. It is one of the most famous and most embarrassing problems in physics. I can imagine a physicist being like, so tell me about dark energy.
Ugh, I don't
Their
want to.
cheeks get red. And
So
they're like,
embarrassed.
No, let's change the subject. Oh, sorry.
In 1998, astronomers discovered that the universe is expanding at ever faster speeds. It's in effect still searching for a cause. Until then, everyone thought the universe's expansion was slowly slowing down after the Big Bang. Entropy. That would be the assumption. Theorists are still floundering around looking for a sensible explanation, says cosmologist Catherine Fries of the University of Michigan.
Freeze.
Yes.
As in
Victor.
Victor's cousin, of the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. Quote, we're all hoping that upcoming observations of supernovae, of clusters of galaxies, and so on will give us more clues. So basically, we don't know what's making the universe expand at ever-increasing speeds.
Jesus?
Why not?
But would this be dark Jesus? Because it's dark energy?
It's like Antichrist. Dark Jesus.
That sounds badass. That's what it sounds.
Pretty cool.
Dark Jesus. Dark Jesus.
I'm just saying, like, if you look at it historically, he was probably dark skinned.
No, not like that.
No, I picture
Like
him just like
anti-hero
kind of like
Jesus.
Sith
Anti-hero
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sith.
Jesus.
Oh, man. Oh.
Keep going. Did they call him sausage?
Number 10, the Kuiper Cliff. If you travel out to the far edge of the solar system into the frigid wastes beyond Pluto, the rating's getting better, you'll see something strange. Suddenly, after passing through the Kuiper Belt, a region of space teeming with icy rocks, there's nothing. Astronomers call this boundary the Kuiper Cliff because the density of space rocks drop off so steeply. So do you guys know what the Kuiper Belt is? It's basically
It's the asteroid belt.
No,
Or am I
different.
thinking
Yeah,
different?
that's different.
Okay.
The asteroid belt is within our solar system.
Okay.
And we think it's a demolished planet of some kind. That it was a planet that died or it's material that didn't get absorbed into...
It was the outer shell of Pluto.
Yeah. So the Kuiper Belt is basically the furthest reaches of our solar
Dark
system.
Jesus broke it.
After the Kuiper Belt, our solar system technically ends.
Right.
So that's basically So that's what the Kuiper Belt
That makes
is.
sense.
And we're in the
Everything needs an
unknown
end.
wastes of space.
Yes. We've also discovered that solar winds from the sun reach out way further than we ever thought.
And
I
at
bet.
the exact time, scientists were all like,
Solar winds. Okay, this gets better. Astronomers call this boundary the Kuiper Cliff because the density of space rocks drop off so steeply. What caused it? The only answer seems to be a 10th planet. We're not talking about Quorar or Sedna. I didn't know those were planets. This is a massive object as big as Earth or Mars, but has swept the area clean of debris. Kind of a neurotic planet. The evidence for the existence of Planet X is compelling, says Alan Stern, as an astronomer at the Southwestern Research Institute in Boulder, Colorado. But although calculations show that such a body could account for the Kuiper Cliff, no one has ever seen this fabled 10th planet. Okay. So something out there has swept that area clean, basically.
What if it's like directly behind Pluto and rotates at the same speed?
But they're saying it's the same size as like Earth.
Yeah.
So you would think we would be able to see it.
Well, you would think.
Yeah. But with that, with ever
dark energy.
Dark energy, with ever decreasing levels of sunlight.
True.
Maybe we just can't see it.
Yeah.
But we can see a black hole.
It's a planet of pure evil.
It's where Dark Jesus lives.
It's anti-Earth. So there's versions of us made of antimatter.
Oh.
So
Antimatter? I'm pretty sure I'm made of antimatter.
Antimatter.
Pretty sure.
All right. So the wow signal, also something I actually got debunked.
That's just Owen Wilson. Wow. Sorry, keep going.
Oh, we have 5 more minutes. I love it. No, it's good. I like that. It was actually Owen Wilson who discovered the wow signal.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
That's where he was inspired. He was like, I like that signal. I'm going to start doing that.
We're pretty sure that we've explained what the wow signal was. So, August 15, 1977, it caused astronomer Jerry Emin, then of Ohio State University in Columbus, to scrawl wow on the printout from Big Ear. This is at SETI. So SETI is the search for
15 of August. I'm going to see where Owen Wilson was born.
He was born in if he was born August 15th.
That would be
I know.
hilarious.
I'm actually kind of curious because that would be hilarious.
And the cries of the universe were heard. Wow.
Nope. 1968.
Oh.
That would have been so cool. At least if it was the same year.
Stupid Owen
So
Wilson.
this sound was discovered at SETI. SETI is the search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
Yes.
Have you ever seen the picture of like fields of satellite dishes?
Yes.
That's what that is. That's SETI.
Oh, okay.
And they've now discovered, at least we think, that the wow signal was actually because of a microwave that got opened prematurely.
Oh, yeah,
I remember that
I
one.
remember that.
Yeah. So we can move on from that one.
You know, have they ever replicated that? Have they ever done, you know what, start doing that. I'm going to open the microwave. Did it do it?
I mean, I would assume, because otherwise scientists would just go, what do you mean it's a microwave?
I'm going to move on to another list for our last few minutes because I just want to talk about these things real fast because that was a lot of science. I love science. But
I prefer dark science.
Dark science. That should be
led by Dark Jesus. Dark Jesus.
It's like
with his dark science.
He's standing there over a desk with all these, he's standing over the desk with all these papers around him. He's like, everyone thinks I'm anti-science. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a phone call.
It's a weird thing for Dark Jesus to say.
Yeah.
Jesus. Hey guys, everybody. 1 second.
Everybody thinks I'm against science.
Hello? Yes.
Well, I'm getting a phone call.
I got the wrong phone number. Okay. Dark Jesus.
He's still just really like kind, but he's like, has this gruffness. Yeah.
He's got a heart of gold.
He's got a heart of gold.
Yeah.
We'll cover a few things. Spooky top 10 unexplained phenomena.
That's a ghost sperm.
The Taos hum. Some residents and visitors in the small city of Taos, New Mexico, have for years been annoyed by and puzzled by a mysterious and faint low-frequency hum in the desert air.
That just sounds like their specific of the one we already went through.
Yep. Bigfoot. That's fun.
We've talked about
Bigfoot a lot. Yeah. There's no information on Bigfoot, people. There's just none. Like,
false.
It's just a dude with big feet and was hairy, and he was like, "Look, I'm tired of getting made fun of. I'm just gonna go live in the woods
with no clothes."
Well, he had so much hair.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
I mean,
he
honestly,
was like,
anytime I can be naked.
What?
I said, anytime I can be naked, I get it.
That's fair.
Intuition, whether we call it gut feelings or a sixth sense or something else, we have all experienced intuition at one time or another. True. Yeah, actually, and it's actually bitten me in the butt because I get a feeling like I should probably do this or not do this, and then I do it, and I'm like, oh, I should have listened to my intuition.
I've had times where a gut feeling has actually saved my life. Really? Like of times like when I was driving once, like for some reason I can't even remember like the full thing. Sure. It was kind of a weird one, but like I was just driving and something I was like, I should change lanes, and I changed lanes and like. I can't remember what. I think it was a motorcycle that was absolutely soaring that would have had no chance at skipping me.
Yeah.
Like it was just one of those ones where it's like, you know what? I don't know why, but I should do this. And then you're like, oh, yeah, it's a very good thing I just did that because someone would have died.
Yep. I know a guy who was in a helicopter and he was sitting there in the helicopter. They're getting ready to take off. And then he said that like as they were getting ready, they started taking. I think they started like lifting off the ground a little bit. He said he felt like this. It was almost like a bucket of ice water went over him. That's what it felt like, and everything in him told him get out of the helicopter. So he jumps out, just listens to his like body, jumps out. Helicopter goes sideways, crashes.
Were there other people in the helicopter?
The pilot. I think they all survived.
Oh, okay.
But like it was this gut.
See ya.
See ya.
Meanwhile, the pilot was like, "What does that guy do?" Oh no!
Oh no! That could be a. So did you hear about that dark matter?
Dark Jesus, take the wheel.
With, ghosts
Dude, wrap me around a telephone.
haven't been explained. Deja vu. Actually, there's an explanation for deja vu.
That's the one
Matrix.
eye recognizes something before the other, or your eye sends a signal before it sends this other signal from your second.
I heard something similar. That is basically your brain registers the same information twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a change in the matrix.
It's a change in the
Well,
matrix.
that too.
Well, that of course.
The change in the
And
dark
your
matter.
brain registers
The change in the
matrix
matrix
first.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
UFOs, which we've never talked about on the show.
Nope.
Near-death experiences.
don't
We've
exist.
never talked about near-death experiences. Some of those stories are very interesting. And they're not always the same.
Yeah.
But there's like the one consistency is like a bright light.
Right.
But then people who have stories about everything after that are not always the same.
Yeah.
Like so it's an interesting. Psychic powers and ESP.
I have those.
Dan, how do you say that?
The piss chick powers.
I have piss chick powers.
To be fair, that's what it looks like.
The body-mind connection, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that was
Whatever
it.
the hell that thing
So
is.
I'm just wrapping it up because we're at an hour and we should,
And 1
What
minute.
is that? The mysterious Tully monster just got more mysterious.
Ooh,
It's like
it's like a giant sperm with a claw.
Well, it's like well, I see. Okay, a more realistic description is a sperm with a claw. No, it's
On the tail. In case anyone
On the
was-
tail. Yeah,
it's
tail
like
claw.
it's like a shark, manta ray.
Sperm with a
It's
claw.
kind of like the mud of the ocean.
Okay, I'm gonna look at this. Every now and again, scientists discover fossils that are so bizarre they defy classification. Their body, blah, blah. At first glance, Tully looks like superficially like a slug-like, where you would expect its mouth to be. The creature has a long, thin appendage.
Oh, that's the front of it?
Yeah, that is.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I don't like it.
It's a reverse sperm
haunts my
claw.
Ending in
dreams.
what looks like a pair of grasping claws. Then there are its eyes, which protrude outward from its body on stalks. Oh, yeah.
That's creepy.
That's
cool.
See, I
Really
thought this was the
creepy.
front end and that
Yeah.
was the back end.
I thought it was a tail. No, that's its like mouth.
That's weird looking. I don't like it. I don't haunt my
Guys,
nightmares.
look up the mysterious Tully monster.
Tully.
Tully. You know what I have to say to that?
This cannot be.
This cannot be. All right, so guys, that is our mystery cast for today. Things science hasn't explained yet. Who knows? We'll see. There will be
Yet.
plenty of irate
They once said that about me, so.
Yeah, well, it's because you're made of what do we call it?
Andy matter.
Antimatter.
Antimatter.
Antimatter. So how did the test go? Well, we didn't make antimatter. We did make something far more frightening.
Far worse.
You're like, hey guys,
Science has gone too far.
science has gone too far.
Sorry.
So in Star Trek, it's called the matter antimatter chamber.
Yes.
So that's the matter
Antimatter
antimatter chamber.
chamber.
You're sitting there
Yeah.
like.
Any
Singing
chamber I'm
in
in
the
is an
shower.
antimatter
Yeah.
chamber.
Anyway, thank you for watching the mystery cast right here on Tales of Earth. Again, follow us on or subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch. Do we have a Twitter?
Not anymore.
Okay, we don't
No, not anymore.
Okay.
But we do have a Patreon.
Support us on Patreon. Yep. And the online store. So
Yeah.
this is Dan.
Glorp Dan, Dante producer, Dante streamer, Twitch, and then Twitter and Instagram on the other one.
Andy Matter.
You can see various Andy matters on Instagram, where
Yes.
I am the Andy.
And you can find me on Twitter at Film Circuit and Instagram at Northward Films. Thank you for watching this episode. Let us know of any other like very intriguing, kind of unexplained scientific things that you've not explained.
And if you believe in
Or have
Dark
explained.
Jesus,
Or have
let us
explained.
know.
And you believe in Dark Jesus.
Yeah. I'm curious
It's
now.
like with that Family Guy, the Black Jesus thing. Anyway.
Black Jesus.
But I think Dark Jesus would be like,
It's Sith Jesus.
it's like the Gritty reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for watching.
Bye.